All right. It sometimes takes a second. Yes. Hi, testing the audio. Let's see if this works. I'll get an echo from my computer in a few seconds if this does work. Um,
Hi, testing the audio.
it does work. Good news. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Jossie Mintz. I'm a senior at Whitman, and I am the president of Shakespeare Club, and I directed this show. And this is my lovely assistant director, Isabel Osmeyer. Did I pronounce it?
It's Ostheimer.
Ostheimer. I am so sorry. So I've been doing Shakespeare Club since freshman year, so this is very special to me. So I'm very excited to share this with everyone. It's so great seeing you all through YouTube virtualness. I'm very happy with this turnout. And even if this isn't how you would usually come to see the Shakespeare Club perform, I'm just really happy you all are here. This cast has worked so hard to do such an incredible job bringing the play to life through the screen. So what is this play? What is Henry IV Part 1? Well, despite the long, historical sounding title, Henry IV Part 1 is one of Shakespeare's most exciting, hilarious, and relatable plays. So usually the Shakespeare Club will do a full play on stage and everything, and that's a lot of fun, but A, it gets slightly tedious, and B, it's really hard to execute over Zoom. So we have put together a scene festival, which will be just as great. And in between each scene, actors will give little blurbs to keep you in the loop and understanding the action. Overall, expect this to be around 45 minutes-ish. The scenes you're about to see are the play's most interesting and best reflects the themes of growing up and taking responsibility for yourself that we all want to share with you today. So I'll give a little description. We watch a young Prince Henry grow from a boy who spends his spare time at bars, playing pranks on his friends, to a man who fully accepts his responsibilities as the future King of England. Prince Henry's close friends from the bar include Bardolph, Gadshill, Ned Poins, and his closest friend, John Falstaff. Their favorite tavern is run by a no-nonsense hostess. If there are two things that Prince Henry loves, it's drinking and playing pranks on Falstaff. However, in the background, war is brewing. Rebels believe that they hold the right to the throne over the current king, and one Harry Percy believes that he is rightfully next in line and is willing to fight for it. Harry Percy is known as Hotspur for his perseverance and ruthlessness in battle. Hotspur is accompanied by his wife, Lady Percy, his uncle Wister, and Sir Vernon, an advisor. All these scenes will build up to an epic clash. Royals versus rebels, the past self versus the future self, destiny versus reality. And I hope that when you see these scenes, you can reflect on all the change and responsibilities we've all faced in our lives, and, most of all, enjoy some Shakespeare. Lastly, I would like to give a few brief thank yous. Thank you to the wonderful Isabel. She is such an incredible assistant director, and she really loves Shakespeare. Huge thank you to our teacher sponsor, Mr. Brunel. He's been sponsoring Shakespeare Club for longer than I've been in school, definitely. And I am just so glad that he's chosen to step up another year and help me out, because he's been amazing. And lastly, I'd like to thank everyone who took some time out of their day to watch Shakespeare, because what better is there to do on a Thursday evening? So thank you for listening to me talk. And without further ado, the Shakespeare Club presents Henry IV, Part 1.
We meet King Henry IV. Even though he's currently the ruler, he rose to the throne in less than legitimate ways. He is at war against rebel forces who seek to take his throne, and he describes the bloody horrors of the ongoing war in this disturbing speech.
So shaken as we are, so wan with care, find we a time for frightened peace to pant and breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in strands afar remote. No more the thirsty entrance of the soil shall dab her lips with her own child's blood. No more shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise her flowerets with the armed hoofs of hostile paced. Those opposed eyes, which like the meteors of a troubled heaven, all of one nature, of one substance bred, did lately meet in the intestine shock and furious close of civil butchery, shall now, in mutual well-beseeming ranks, march all one way, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. Therefore, friends, as we are to the sepulchre of Christ, whose soldier now, under whose blessed cross, we are impressed and engaged to fight, forthwith a power of English shall we levy, whose arms were molded in the mother's womb to chase these pagans in those holy fields, over whose acrid walk those blessed feet, which 1400 years ago were nailed for our advantage on the bitter cross. But this our purpose now is 12 months old, and bootless 'tis to tell you we will go. Therefore, we meet not now. Then let me hear of you, my gentle cousin, Westmoreland, what yesternight our council did decree in forwarding this dear expedience.
King Henry is disappointed in his son, Prince Henry. Even though the prince is next in line to be the king, he spends all his time getting into mischief at the bar with his barfly friends. In this scene, the prince and his drunken friends decide to go out into the woods and steal from travelers. However, the prince and his friend Poins decide to play a prank on the other barflies, who are Falstaff, Bardolph, and Gadshill.
Come, shelter, shelter. I have removed Falstaff's horse, and he frets like a gummed velvet.
Ha! Stand close.
Poins! Poins! And be hanged! Poins!
PC fat-kidneyed rascal, what a brawling dost thou keep?
I am accursed to rob in that thief's company. The rascal hath removed my horse and tied him I know not where. A plague upon it when thieves cannot be true one to another. A plague upon you all! Give me my horse, you rogues! Give me my horse, and be hanged!
PC fat guts, lie down, lay thine ear close to the ground, and list if thou canst hear the tread of travellers.
Have you any levers to lift me up again, being down? Sblood, I'll not bear mine own flesh so far afoot again, for all the coin in thy father's exchequer. What a plague me need to colt me thus?
Thou liest. Thou art not colted, thou art uncolted.
Ha ha! I prithee, good prince, how? Help me to my horse, good king's son.
Out, ye rogue, shall I be your ostler?
Go hang thyself in thine own heir-apparent garters. If I be ta'en, I'll preach for this. And I've not ballads made on you all and sung to filthy tunes. Let a cup of sack be my poison, when a jest is so forward. And a foot too, I hate it.
Stand.
So I do, against my will.
Oh, 'tis our setter. I know his voice. Bardolph, what news?
Casey, on with your visits. There's money of the king's coming down the hill. 'Tis going to the king's exchequer.
You lie, you rogue. 'Tis going to the king's tavern.
There's enough to make us all.
To be hanged.
Sirs, you three shall front them in the narrow lane. Ned Poins and I will walk lower. If they escape from your encounter, then they light on us.
How many be there of them?
Some 8 or 10.
Soons, will they not rob us?
What, a coward, Sir John Paunch?
Indeed, I am not John of Gaunt, your grandfather, but yet no coward, how?
Well, we will leave that to the proof.
Sirrah Jack, thy horse stands behind the hedge. When thou needest him, there thou shalt find him. Farewell, and stand fast.
Now I cannot strike him if I should be hanged. On, Bacon's on!
What ye knaves, young men must live. Your grandeurs are ye, Wiltshire, ye faith.
Ha!
The thieves have thus bound the true men. Now, if thou and I could rob the thieves and go merrily to London, it would be an argument for a week, laughter for a month, and a good jest forever.
Stand close. I hear them coming.
My masters, let us share, and then to horse before day. And the prince and Poins be not two errant cowards, there's no equity stirring. There's no more valor in that Poins than in a wild duck.
Aha! Your money!
Villains! Got with much ease. Now merrily to horse. The thieves are all scattered and possessed with fear, so strongly that they dare not meet each other. Each takes his fellow for an officer.
Away, good Ned. Falstaff sweats to death and lards the lean earth as he walks along. Were it not for laughing, I should pity him.
How the rogue roared!
After a successful prank by Prince Henry and Poins, we meet Hotspur, leader of the rebels. Hotspur is about to go and fight for his claim to the throne, but his wife doesn't want him to leave her because she fears he may never return.
How now, Kate? I must leave you within these 2 hours.
Oh, my good lord, why are you thus alone? For what offense have I this fortnight been a banished woman from my Harry's bed? Tell me, sweet lord, what is takes from thee thy stomach pleasure and thy golden sleep? Why dost thou bend thine eyes upon the earth and start so often when thou sitt'st alone? Why hast thou lost the fresh blood in thy cheeks and given my treasures and my rights of these to thick-eyed musing and cursed melancholy? Oh, what portents are these? Some heavy business hath my lord in hand, and I must know it, else he loves me not.
What sayest thou, my lady?
What is it carries you away?
Why, my horse, my love, my horse.
How, you mad-headed ape! A weasel hath not such a deal of spleen as you are tossed with. In faith, I'll know your business, Harry, that my brother Mortimer doth stir about his title, and hath sent for you to line his enterprise. But if you go...
So far afoot I shall be weary, love.
Come, you parakeeto, answer me directly unto this question that I ask. In faith, I'll break thy little finger, Harry, and if thou wilt not tell me all things true.
Away, away, you trifler. Love, I love thee not. I care not for thee, Kate. This is no world to play with mammoths, and to tilt with lips. We must have bloody noses, and cracked crowns otherwise than Harry Percy's wife. Constant you are, but yet a woman, and for secrecy, no lady closer. For I well believe thou wilt not utter what thou dost not know, and so far I will trust thee, gentle Kate, gentle Kate.
How? So far?
Not an inch further. But hark you, Kate, whither I go, thither shall you go too. Today I will set forth. Tomorrow you. Will this content you, Kate?
It must, of force.
We go back to the bar to see the prince and his friends. Falstaff knows, so he lies about being robbed, not knowing that Prince Henry and Poins were the ones who actually robbed him.
Sirrah, Falstaff and the rest of the thieves are at the door. Shall we be merry?
As merry as crickets, my lad. Welcome, Jack. Where hast thou been?
Plague of all cowards, I say, and a vengeance too. Marry and amen, give me a cup of sack, boy. Ere I leave this life long, I'll sow in other stocks and mend them and foot them too. Plague of all cowards, give me a cup of sack, rogue. Is there no virtue extent?
Why, you whoreson round man?
What's the matter? There be 3 of us here have taken £1,000 this day morning.
Where is it, Jack? Where is it?
Where is it? Taken from us it is. 100 upon poor 3 of us.
What, 100, man?
I am a rogue. If I were not at half sword with a dozen of them 2 hours together, I have escaped by miracle. I am 8 times thrust through the doublet, 4 through the hose, my buckler cut through and through, my sword hacked like a handsaw, ecce signum. I never dealt better since I was a man. All would not do. Plague of all cowards, let them speak. If they speak more or less than truth, they are villains, and the...
Speak, sirs, how was it?
We 3 set upon some dozen.
16. These 9 in buckram that I told thee of.
So 2 more already.
Points being broken,
Down fell their hose.
began to give me ground, but I followed me close, came in foot in hand, to give me ground, but I followed me close, came in foot in hand, and with a thought, 7 of the 11 I paid.
Oh, monstrous,
And with a thought, 7 of the 11 I paid.
Oh, monstrous, a buck from men grown out of 2.
But as the devil would have it, 3 misbegotten knaves in Kendall Green came at my back and let drive at me, for it was so dark, Hal, thou couldst not see thy hand.
These lies are like their father that begets them. Gross as a mountain, open, palpable. Why, thou clay-brained guts, thou naughty-pated fool, thou whoreson, obscene, greased tallow catch.
Aren't thou mad?
Art thou mad? Is not the truth the truth?
Isn't it?
Why, how couldst thou know these men in Kendall Green, when it was so dark thou couldst not see thy hand? Come, tell us your reason. What sayest thou to this?
Come, your reason, Jackson.
What? Upon compulsion? Zoons and I were at the Strapato or all the racks in the world. I would not tell you on compulsion.
After being slightly humiliated in front of Prince Henry, Falstaff indulges in a scheme of his own. He and Bardolph are sitting at the Boar's Head Tavern when the tavern hostess demands Falstaff pay for food and drinks. Falstaff doesn't want to pay, so he lies and says that someone has picked his pocket. The hostess grows frustrated with Falstaff's trickery.
Oh, Bardolph! Am I not fallen away vilely since this last action? Do I not bate? Do I not dwindle? Company, villainous company, hath been the spoil of me.
Sir John, you are so fretful. You cannot live long.
Why, there it is. Come sing me a bawdy song, make me merry. I was as virtuously given as a gentleman need to be.
What, you're so fat, Sir John, that you must needs be out of all reasonable compass, Sir John.
Do thou amend thy face, and I'll amend my life.
Why, Sir John, my face does you no harm.
No, I'll be sworn, I make as good use of it as many a man doth of a death's head or a memento mori. I never see thy face, but I think upon hellfire and dives that lived in purple, for there he is in his robes, burning, burning. I have maintained that salamander of yours with fire any time these 32 years. God reward me for it.
But I would my face were in your belly.
God a mercy, so should I be sure to be heartburned. How now, Dame Partlet the hen? Have you inquired yet who picked my pocket?
Why, Sir John, what do you think, Sir John? Do you think I keep thieves in my house? I have searched, I have inquired, so has my husband, man by man, boy by boy, servant by servant. The tithe of a hair was never lost in my house before.
You lie, hostess. Bardolph was shaved and lost many a hair. And I'll be sworn my pocket was picked. Go to, you are a woman, go.
Who, I? No, I defy thee, God's light. I was never called so in mine own house before.
Go to, I know you well enough.
No, Sir John, you do not know me, Sir John. I know you, Sir John. You owe me money, Sir John. And now you pick a quarrel to beguile me of it. I bought you a dozen of shirts to your back.
Dowless, filthy Dowless. I have given them away to bakers' wives, and they have made bolters of them.
Now, as I am a true woman, Holland of 8 shillings an ell, you owe money here besides, Sir John, for your diet and by drinkings, and money lent you, £4 and 20.
What? Will you make a junker of me? Shall I not take mine case and mine in, but I shall have my pocket picked? I have lost a seal ring of my grandfather's worth 40 mark.
Oh, Jesu, I have heard the prince tell him I not know how oft that ring was copper.
How? That prince is a jack, a sneak-up, blood, and he were here I would cuddle him like a dog if he would say so. How now, lad? Is the wind in that door, faith? Must we all march?
My lord, I pray you, hear me.
What sayest thou, Mistress Quickly? How doth thy husband? I love him well. He is an honest man.
Good, my lord, hear me.
Prithee, let her alone, and list to me.
He speaks most vilely of you, like a foul-mouthed man as he is, and said he would cudgel you.
What? He did not.
There's neither faith, truth, nor womanhood in me else.
There's no more faith in thee than in a stewed prune, and no more truth in thee than in a drawn fox. And for womanhood, Maid Marian may be the deputy's wife of the ward to thee. Go, you thing, go.
Say what thing, what thing?
What thing? Why, thing to thank God on.
I am no thing to thank God on, I would thou shouldst know it. I am an honest man's wife, and setting thy knighthood aside, thou art a knave to call me so.
Setting thy womanhood aside, thou art a beast to say otherwise.
Say what beast, thou knave, thou?
What beast? Why, an otter.
An otter? Sir John, why an otter?
Why, she's neither fish nor flesh. A man knows not where to have her.
Thou art an unjust man in saying so. Thou or any man knows where to have me, thou knave, thou.
Thou sayest true, hostess, and he slanders thee most grossly.
So he doth you, my lord, and said this other day you ought him £1,000.
Sirrah, do I owe you £1,000?
£1,000. A million. Thy love is worth 1,000,000, and thou owest me thy love.
Ha!
Nay, my lord, he called you Jack, and said he would cudgel you.
Did I?
Indeed, Sir John, you said so.
Why, how? Thou knowest, as thou art but man, I dare. But, as thou art prince, I fear thee as I fear the roaring of a lion's whelp.
And why not as the lion?
The king is to be feared as the lion. Dost thou think I'll fear thee as I fear thy father? Nay, and I pray God my girdle break.
Oh, if it should, how would thy guts fall about thy knees? But, sirrah, there's no room for faith, truth, nor honesty in this bosom of thine. It is all filled up with guts and midriff. Charge an honest woman with picking thy pocket. Art thou not ashamed?
You confess, then. You picked my pocket?
It appears so by the story.
Hostess, I forgive thee. Go, make ready breakfast. Love thy husband. Look to thy servants. Cherish thy guests. Thou shalt find me tractable to any honest reason. Thou seest, I am pacified still. Nay, prithee, be gone.
We just watched Prince Henry act nobly for possibly the first time. Just in time for the beginning of a battle. Back at the rebel camp, Hotspur's uncle Worcester is dealing with new information. King Henry has just made an unexpected but kind offer to the rebels. He would grant them mercy if Hotspur gives up his claim to the throne. However, Worcester doesn't want Hotspur to know this offer because he fears Hotspur would accept. And Worcester doesn't want to see peace.
Oh no, my nephew must not know, Sir Richard, the liberal and kind offer of the king.
'Twere best he did, no?
Then we are all undone. It is not possible. It cannot be. The king should keep his word in loving us. He will suspect us still and find a time to punish this offense in other faults. Suspicion all our lives shall be stuck full of eyes, for treason is but trusted like the fox, who ne'er so tame, so cherished and locked up, will have a wild trick of his ancestors. Look how we can, or sad or merrily, interpretation will misquote our looks, and we shall feed like oxen at a stall. The better cherished, still the nearer death, my nephew's trespass may be well forgot. It hath the excuse of youth and heat of blood, and an adopted name of privilege. A harebrained Hotspur, governed by spleen. All his offences live upon my head, and on his father's we did train him on. And, his corruption being ta'en from us, we, as the spring of all, shall pay for all. Therefore, good cousin, let not Harry know, in any case, the offer of the king.
Deliver what you will, I'll say 'tis so. Here comes your cousin.
My uncle is returned. Deliver up my lord of Westmoreland. Uncle, what news?
The king will bid you battle presently. There is no seeming mercy in the king.
Did you beg any? God forbid.
I told him gently of our grievances, of his oath breaking, which he mended thus, by now forswearing that he is forsworn. He calls us rebels, traitors, and will scourge with haughty arms this hateful name in us.
Oh, would the quarrel lay upon our heads, and that no man might brush short dress today, but I and Harry Monmouth. I will embrace the prince with a soldier's arm, that he shall shrink under my courtesy. Arm! Arm! With speed! And, fellows, soldiers, friends, better consider what you have to do than I, for that have not well the gift of tongue, can lift up your blood with persuasion. Now, Esperance, Percy, set on, sound all the lofty instruments of war, and by that music let us all embrace, for, heaven to earth, some of us shall never a second time do such a courtesy.
The battle we've all been waiting for has commenced. The rebel forces clash head to head with the king's soldiers. It is time for the battle of the Henrys. Prince Henry and Henry Percy will duel for the claim to the throne. Even Falstaff has picked up a sword and taken to battle. But he was quickly wounded and appears dead?
If I mistake not, thou art Harry Monmouth.
Thou speak'st as if I would deny my name.
My name is Harry Percy.
Ah, well then I see. A very valiant rebel of the name. I am the Prince of Wales, and think not, Percy, to share with me in glory any more. 2 stars keep not their motion in one sphere, nor can one England brook a double reign of Harry Percy and the Prince of Wales.
Nor shall it, Harry, for the hour is come to end the one of us. And would to God thy name in arms were now as great as mine.
Ha! Or make it greater ere I part from thee, and all the budding honours on thy crest I'll crop to make a garland from my head.
I can no longer brook thy vanities. Ha!
Ah!
Ah!
Ah! Ah!
Ah! Oh, Harry, thou hast robbed me of my youth. I better brook the loss of brittle life than those proud titles thou hast won of me. They wound my thoughts worse than sword my flesh. But thought's the slave of life, and life time's fool, and time that takes survey of all the world must have a stop. Oh, I could prophecy, but that the earthy and cold hand of death lies on my tongue. No, Percy, thou art dust and food for
worms, brave Percy. Fare thee well, great heart. Ill-weaved ambition, how much art thou shrunk! When that this body did contain a spirit, a kingdom for it was too small a bound. But now 2 paces of the vilest earth is room enough. This earth that bears thee dead bears not alive so stout a gentleman. If thou wert sensible of courtesy, I should not make so dear show of zeal. But let my favours hide thy mangled face, and, even in thy behalf, I'll thank myself for doing these fair rites of tenderness. Adieu, and take thy praise with thee to heaven. What, old acquaintance? Could not all this flesh keep in a little life? Poor Jack, farewell. Death hath not struck so fat a deer today, though many dearer in this bloody fray. Embowelled will I see thee by and by, till then in blood my noble Percy lie.
Embowelled. If thou embowel me today, I'll give you leave to powder me and eat me too tomorrow. This blood was time to counterfeit her, that hot termagant Scot. Paid me Scot and lot too. Counterfeit. I lie. I am no counterfeit. To die is to be counterfeit, for he is but the counterfeit of a man who hath not the life of a man. But to counterfeit dying when a man thereby liveth is to be no counterfeit. But the true and perfect image of life indeed. The better part of valor is discretion. In the which better part, I have saved my life. Zoons, I am afraid of this gunpowder Percy, though he be dead. How? If he should counterfeit too and rise? By my faith, I am afraid he would prove the better counterfeit. Therefore, I'll make him sure. Yea, and I swear I killed him. Why may not he rise as well as I? Nothing confutes me but eyes, and nobody sees me. Therefore, Sirrah, ha! With a new wound in your thigh, come you along with me.
Come, brother John. Full bravely hast thou fleshed thy maiden sword.
But, soft! Whom have we here? Did you not tell me this fat man was dead?
I did. I saw him dead, breathless and bleeding on the ground. Art thou alive? Or is it fantasy that plays upon our eyesight? I prithee speak, we will not trust our eyes without our ears. Thou art not what thou seemst.
No, that's certain. I am not a double man, but if I be not Jack Falstaff, then I'm a Jack. There's Percy. If your father will do me any honor, so. If not, let him kill the next Percy himself. I look to be either Earl or Duke, I can assure you.
Why, Percy, I killed myself and saw thee dead.
Didst thou? Lord, how this world is given to lying. I grant you, I was down and out of breath, and so was he. But we rose both at an instant, and fought a long hour by Shrewsbury clock. If I may believed, so. If not, let them that should reward valor bear the sin upon their own heads. I'll take it upon my death. I gave him this wound in the thigh. If the man were alive and would deny it, zoons, I would make him eat a piece of my sword.
This is the strangest tale that ever I heard.
This is the strangest fellow, brother John. Come, bring your luggage nobly on your back. For my part, if a lie may do thee grace, I'll gild it with the happiest terms I have. The trumpet sounds retreat. The day is ours. Come, brother, let us to the highest of the field, to see which friends are living and who are dead.
I'll follow, as they say, for reward. He that rewards me, God reward him. If I do grow great, I'll grow less, for I'll purge and leave sack and live cleanly, as a nobleman should do.
Thus, Prince Henry has defeated Hotspur, won the battle, and after a long time of dodging his responsibilities, he has fully accepted his role as heir to the throne.
Thus ever did rebellion find rebuke! Bear Worcester to death and Vernon too. Other offenders we will pause upon, then this remains, that we divide our power. Rebellion in this land shall lose his sway, meeting the check of such another day. And since this business so fair is done,
Let us not leave till all our own be won.
Clara Basinger-Rosen as Gatshill and Lady Percy. Sunny Bazoo as Hotspur. Vikram Bhatt as Bardolph and Sir Vernon. Elliot Cooper as Ned Coins and Sir Lancaster. Claudia Hull as the hostess and the Earl of Worcester. Lauren Tan as John Falstaff. And Mark Flitz as Prince Henry. And my assistant director, Isabel Ostheimer.
and our amazing director, Jossie Mintz.
Thank you everyone for coming and sticking through all the technical difficulties. Exactly 45 minutes, that's awesome. Thank you for appreciating Shakespeare with us.